Ты слышал истории о человеке с одним глазом?
Ага. Что много положил наших ребят. Он душман?
Нет. Но я слышал, что его прислали американские империалисты в поддержку душмана. Кто-то из выживших рассказывал, что у него на голове рог. Он сражается как одержимый демон.
Богатый мужик? Да он, небось, запаниковал и съел с катушек.
Может быть.
Disrupt communications between enemy outposts by destroying comms equipment. That'll prevent one post from sending reinforcements to another.
Что там?
That's the target. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I'm not leaving now, honey, not a chance.
This mission has two objectives. Eliminate the colonel scheduled to take up a post at Smasi Fort and stop the deployment of his tank unit. Your first move should be to head to Sakai village and search for the colonel and his deployment plans. Boss, to take out enemy combat vehicles, you'll want to use explosive weaponry. Missiles, grenades, placed explosives. If you haven't developed these yet, use your iDroid to give the order. Choose your weapon according to the situation. The villages around there belong to the Soviets now. The local population probably packed up and left already. Sure, the Soviets originally used the Afghan government's request for help as their pretense for military intervention. But what we're seeing now is an invasion, plain and simple. That building looks bigger than most around there. Should be worth checking out. Vulture. You die out here, you could be its next meal. Stay on your toes. That searchlight's manually operated. This colonel oversees several outposts in the area, and now he's got his sights set on Smasi Fort. All reports say he's a formidable soldier. Be careful.
The Smasi Laman was full of Mujahideen, the Hamid fighters. Then suddenly they disappeared overnight, and the Soviets moved right in. I guess the old fort is still in good enough shape that the Soviets want to use it as is. This means that the battalion commander stationed in Sakai village, a lieutenant colonel, is moving his operations room to the fort. Word is, he's an excellent leader. With him stationed at Smasi Fort, the Soviet forces in the area will operate all the better. And according to the client's information, he'll be bringing a tank unit to the fort as well. We don't know the redeployment date or the route they'll take, but there must be some planning documentation where the colonel is. You have two objectives: eliminate the colonel and stop the tank deployment. Counting on you, boss.
The Soviets confiscate homes and occupy them as needed. If you want to find a colonel, I'd check the biggest houses in the village. That's an Afghan pika. Its call resembles a songbird's. Can you hear it? Also try interrogating some of the soldiers. One of them might know where the colonel is.
Нет, не делай этого!
Talk.
This war, the Kremlin never expected to have this much trouble against the Mujahideen. Afghanistan is a tribal society. Tradition demands that its people stand up to any outsiders who set foot on their land. With the honor of their people at stake, they have everything to fight for. No matter how hard the Soviets hit them, they continue to appear out of nowhere, striking back, then vanishing again. But there's one thing even the Mujahideen fear. Every last one of them. The Soviet gunships. They're highly maneuverable and equipped with massive firepower. Plus, the underside of the fuselage is heavily armored. The Mujahideen can barely scratch them with their small arms. Anyone who hangs around gets mowed down by the gunship's heavy machine guns. This new honeybee weapon that was given to the Hamid fighters, it's no doubt something to help them strike back against the gunships. which makes it a weapon that could change the course of the war.
Помоги мне! Но почему?
He's coming too. Roger that.
Those guerrilla fighters known as Mujahideen don't actually belong to a single organization. Afghanistan is a multi-ethnic country. You've got the Pashtuns, the Tajiks, Uzbeks, Hazaras, and each of them is split into their own tribes, large and small. Each ethnicity has several rebel organizations that their various tribes gather under. They're united under the banner of jihad, but that doesn't mean they work like a single standing army. Just look at the area around Smasi Fort. A lot of Tajiks used to live there, but they fled after the Soviets started their scorched earth campaign. With the area uninhabited, the Hamid fighters from Pashtun decided to move in. The Hamids are based out of the city of Peshawar. We passed through it on the western edge of Pakistan. The Pashtun people have long lived in Afghanistan and western Pakistan. They used to travel back and forth frequently.
You gonna extract him?
Britain went and established the border that still stands today. The Hamid fighters get generous support from the Pakistani government. The government wants to use them to secure influence over Afghanistan. Their liaison with the Hamids is Inter-Services Intelligence, and behind the ISI, you have the CIA. That's probably how the honeybee ended up in the hands of the Hamid men.
That's the building they're using as an operations room. It should be a gold mine of information. Apparently the village's name, Karya Saharai, means cliff village in the Dari dialect. It's one of the country's official languages, mostly spoken by the Tajiks and Hazara. Some say that village was originally built by Alexander the Great's army. Supposedly, the residents were of European ancestry. They had blonde hair and blue eyes, but they're all gone now. steal that. Nothing could stop you. But make a wrong move, and it'll chew you up. Boss, that document you just got is the deployment plans for the Smasi Fort reinforcements. According to the plans, the Colonel is supposed to join up with a tank unit at Waksin Barracks and then proceed to Smasi Fort. Those tanks being on the move doesn't make things easy. Hurry, boss. I've sent the tank unit's route to your iDroid. This is the route shown in the deployment plans, which the tank unit will take to Smasi Fort.
I had the R&D team analyze the Honeybee. How? The CIA wanted it with everything intact. They took it apart to look at it. Then they put it back together. Everything intact. That's the R&D boys, all right. Turns out the Honeybee's homing capabilities are a cut above previous manpads. It can detect a broad range of infrared wavelengths, and even ultraviolet for supplementary guidance. Hence the name, huh? Right. Honeybees rely on UV light to fly. With this device, flares don't do the target any good. That's why the Soviets are losing so many gunships, and why the CIA was so desperate to get it back. It wasn't just about preventing the Soviets from devising countermeasures. What if the likes of Iran got their hands on it? American aircraft would be put at risk too. We can use this tech to develop our own portable missile. That'll give us a huge advantage. It'll take a little time before the analysis results can be applied to actual implementation. But we'll keep moving with the research.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ.
Flawless work. You never cease to amaze, boss. Good. You completed the objective. Now get out of there. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land.
Departing.
Halt! You see that? Now that's discipline. Following orders like a real diamond dog. Soon he'll be... Hey, no! Stay! Stay! Didi! Go! No, maybe not yet. But soon. Soon.